Good morning, and welcome to the Peyton Podcast on June 13th, 2019. And your St. Louis Blues are the Stanley Cup champions for the first time in franchise history, led by all three of these guys. First, a Carroll College Tiger and Jaden Schwartz getting assists on the game-winning goal last night with only 7.6 seconds left in the first period. And then Tyler Bozak, a University of Denver alum. Fuck that guy, but congratulations to him. And then the rookie goaltender, whose last name I think is, Bingham, something like that, came in halfway through the season on a team that was at the bottom of the standings, looking to try to get a first overall pick. Got a shutout in his very first debut. Couldn't be more proud of that guy. Literally turned the franchise around. The ultimate goal being the Boston Bruins, which I don't know who I was going for, because of course Boston had Brandon Carlo from Colorado Springs. If he won, hopefully he wouldn't be a selfish prick and would bring the Stanley Cup over to Colorado Springs and let all of us see it. Yeah, it is my day off, and it is already almost 6:30 a.m. and it is should not be up. Only reason why I'm up and doing this, I usually try to do it on a Sunday or a Monday, but I'm actually stuck in Denver traffic. I had a dinner up in Denver last night, and on my way back down this morning, and I'm exhausted. I have a car appointment early in the morning, so that's what's kicked my ass out of bed. Yeah, so hopefully I won't have too many rants. I do have one thing that's going around in my mind, but also I just hate traffic, so if I get stuck in traffic, you might hear my thoughts on fellow drivers that you can't see. But I know I said I wouldn't talk about work, so I'm not going to talk about where I work. If you don't know, then you shouldn't. But any hospitality place, especially high class, I learned just kind of kisses the ass of every guest there, whether they're deserving of it or not. I read some reports of a business, my business or not, that guests having complaints or guests doing something and they're just being dicks and they just want more than they deserve. One of them at this business, we had whoever had guests on the roof in the middle of the night, and this guest called it in, and we got it situated. Found out that whoever those people were on the roof just happened to be part of a wedding party at this establishment. Who knows where it's at? And the guests that reported, went to say the host stand could be a restaurant for all you're concerned, and said like, hey, I hope those people are okay. And the hostess said, yeah, they're fine. The guy's like, well, that's great. Is there anything you can give me? And I know how that sounds fake to me. Just that you do a good deed by calling something in, reporting something, and now you want a cookie for it. Fuck you. Be an adult about it and move on with your day. This guy wanted a free breakfast, and he comes back after the breakfast, and it's like, no, he doesn't get the breakfast yet. Fucked up the story. He got a gift bag, a little care package. Usually we'll have some wine or some shit in there, and that wasn't good enough for Superman over here that knows how to operate a cell phone. We also gave him breakfast. Fuck that guy. And that becomes a theme of these two stories. Another one, this woman happened to be at this establishment overnight. Don't know which establishment. And I can already see the traffic fucking piling up. Here we go. Too many fucking people. I hate to say it, but this is honestly why I'm pro-choice. If it was more acceptable to have abortions 30, 40 years ago, there might be a couple thousand less cars on the road here. For of you that have been to Denver during rush hour, either in the morning or the afternoon, could you imagine just tearing down the highway at a normal pace, not having to worry about the asshole next to you coming into your lane? How nice that would be. But no, God forbid you even get too close to a car here, because you don't know at any moment they're just going to tap their brakes, and then you have a 10-car accident, and then no one's getting out of Denver for the next week. I swear to God, man, if traffic gets backed up, just everyone move. Traffic should not exist. Switch lanes when you need to. Fucking merge when you need to. Be adults about it. Use all of the fucking space provided. I have a friend, this girl who, she doesn't listen to my podcast because she has a life that you guys obviously don't, but she hates any time like I'm on the like if the left hand road or left lane closes. At some point she wants me to switch lanes immediately as soon as I find out. But what I do, like a civilized person, is I drive all the way up to the part where the road ends and I follow the cones over in. Use the space provided. We don't need to get backed up all the way 10 blocks down the road because it's taboo to use the space that was given to you. So then, of course, for 3 city blocks, you just have an empty left lane and cars moving at a snail pace, getting passed up by a guy walking his old dog. It's fucking ridiculous. Just use the space provided. Speaking of that, construction workers, whenever you do work, which evidently is on none of the days that I happen to be on the road, you don't need 2.5 miles of open space that you're not working on coned off. I honestly had that once. I went with, I don't want to say ex, my former girlfriend, early in the year, I think it was January, to see LeBron play the Nuggets. Happened to be his worst career game. Worst statistical game of his career. So yeah, that was a couple $100 well spent. But traffic was backed up. I had to work the next morning, by the way. But traffic was backed up, which is getting now. I think I was stuck in traffic for 6 miles. And I was trying to figure out, why is this lane it was actually on the right this time. Why is this right-hand lane closed off? And then out of these 6 miles, mile 4 is where the construction was. I get if you're working on that whole stretch, I understand. But can you designate one person to move the fucking cones down the line with you? I mean, you pay that guy to hold the stop and slow sign who's not even paying attention half the time. You know how they got 2 of them? One person's actually doing the job. The other one's just holding the walkie-talkie, waiting to be told to flip the sign. And somehow he's still getting paid more than me. But that's not the point. Point is traffic should not exist. Anyway, back on topic. Wherever this establishment was, this woman had a bang in her wall, which, yes, I thought the same thing you're thinking. Some other guest wasn't as tired as you. But no, it ended up being something with the heating system. Anyway, we got them in a new room. I don't know who we is. Someone got them in a new room. I wasn't there. No matter where it was, I wasn't there. I just read about it. And, that's where the story should end. Maybe, I don't know, more fresh towels. Maybe an extra fluffy pillow. Move on. You got a nicer room. They gave her a fucking suite. And what she did is she bitched about it. She's like, oh, well, now I have to pack all my things back up and, move rooms. Oh, God forbid You move from, your one bedroom to a fucking suite. God, you're a fucking martyr. How do you do it? No, you didn't even have to pack your own shit. They did it for you. The people at this establishment packed it for you. I'm losing my fucking voice. I don't know where the water is, but again, I'm in traffic, so I can't really do much. So, bear with me on that. I don't know why it's not like I've been yelling. Other than this, I've been quiet, sleeping. It's my first day off in 9 days. Anyway, so, she was so distraught that she had to pack all of her shit back up. You only had 2 nights to begin with, so I don't know what you could have possibly packed. Fuck you. So what we did is we gave her, I keep saying we for some reason. At this place I am not related to. Gave her a free spa day, good for you. And then, a free breakfast, because again, somehow we fixed her problem with food. And again, she comes to goes to the desk of wherever this place is, tells them everything's been great. Is there anything else you can do for me? Can you fucking believe it? And because it's a nice establishment, they bent her over and kissed her ass for her and told her, hey, there are a lot of shops in this area that you happen to be in. Charge it to your hotel room and we'll take care of it, whatever you want. Fuck that. I know I work hospitality at a different establishment from where these stories are taking place. But man, security, I don't know if I could be on the front lines like that. I don't know if I could really handle it. And here's where the traffic, for fuck's sake. I don't know if I could do it, man. I would just tell a guest, no, you've got a nicer room. You get a good night's sleep. You already have a spa day. Go fuck yourself. You might feel better afterwards. I mean, how many times do you honestly think that happens at a restaurant or hotel where everything's fine, but then a guest thinks it's some bullshit excuse? Oh, I asked for medium on my steak, and my steak's anywhere between medium and medium rare. I want a new one. Actually, that happened to my buddy working at it's a chain restaurant, Texas Roadhouse. This guy ate 2/3 of his steak, said, oh, it wasn't the way I want it cooked, which is bullshit. Because what they actually do is they make you cut into your steak before you eat it. Before they leave the table to make sure it's the way you want it. Which I'm not a fucking grill. I don't know exactly how it's supposed to look. I always just tell them, yeah, it's fine. I trust them to do their own job. But this dude, I remember, they said he ate 2/3 of his steak. Said it wasn't cooked right. And so, by company policy, they had to make him a whole new steak. And what they should have done is said, well, you already ate it, so good for you. No, what they did instead is they made him a whole new one. And by the time he got that one, he's like, oh, well, I've been waiting here too long. It's time for me to leave. What they ended up doing for him for some unbelievable reason is they boxed a new one, makes sense, kind of, but then they also boxed the one that he already ate. No, so he just got 2 steaks. Oh, and because it's not cooked the way you want it, we're going to comp it? Fuck that. No, it doesn't matter how you fucking got it cooked. It's the same price. You're not paying by the ounce of blood in the steak, man. Yeah, so we got 2 steaks for free. Not to mention the sides. I don't know, man. People are fucking selfish. On the upside, though, as I said, I had a fucking finally had a day off, so I got to spend some time with my daughter, and and she's so excited now she can stand in the big kid pool, but she still has her floaty on, so I don't know how much credit goes to the floaty and how much is to her growing, but it's the shallow end of the adult pool. It's like 5 feet. She's able to point her toes and just step on it, so good for her. It's exciting. I remember the first time I was able to pour my own milk. I was really excited. It was the first time I poured my own milk, and I got to drive to high school. But yeah, it's cool, man. I love being a dad. I had to go to a bachelor party last weekend, though, which was a nightmare. Have you ever spent so much money in one night? You didn't even drink, but you spent enough money that you had a hangover the next morning. You wake up with a headache, a little bit nauseous. You don't want to look at yourself in the mirror. You're scared to check your account. Yeah, I mean, I have enough money, but still, it's money I'm not going to get back that was wasted at wherever it was wasted. I think the past couple nights I've gone to bed at like 6. And then because for some reason I have like problems not sleeping in my own bed, I couldn't sleep tonight, or last night I guess. And I think I started I had to be up at 5:45. And I think I started to doze off at like 4:50. What I actually learned about that is that it's an evolution thing where, especially like in hotels or like camping, you don't get a full night's rest because like your mind's on, alert mode to where you need to wake up at any moment, but like you feel safe in your own home, so you're able to get a better night's rest. So even if you get a deep sleep at a hotel and sleep through the night, you're still not going to get the same amount of rest as you would at home, just because you can't hit I think it's like that third level of deep sleep where you're just out, but you can still be woken up by small noises, and that's just a prey thing. Just try not to get eaten in the wild. Yeah, man, I worked 9 days. It's not like those 9 days were like that eventful, like we had some shit go down, but still, it's just being there for 9 days. And it's getting hot too. I have to wear a suit. It's bullshit. I don't know, it's summertime, man. Let us wear like polos. I mean, I do have tattoos on my forearm, so I'd have to wear like a shooter sleeve for basketball, but like still better than a damn suit. But one of my days off last week, I got to play soccer, and Connor and I hadn't played soccer since December maybe, because I just now work those nights, but kind of reminded me of why I stopped, honestly. It was miserable. Just, the team doesn't give a shit, which means you don't give a shit, but it's one of those teams where we have this Mexican guy on the team where if anyone's played soccer with Mexicans, they're very talented, but they're also very dramatic, where, he'll play very physical. He's a guy like middle-aged, but he's like very physical. But anytime like you touch him, he'll like flop and then bitch about it to the refs, and it's just not fun. It's like, man, no one really cares that much, and the refs are tired of him too. He has a reputation at this place that I play at, off of Garden of the Gods. Everyone knows about him, and he's a nice guy off the field, man, but he's just annoying when it comes to on the field play. But got back into soccer. I'm watching basketball now. Prayers out to KD. Speaking of injuries, who the fuck would shoot David Ortiz? Especially in what is he? He's Dominican. Especially in the Dominican Republic. Who the fuck would shoot? It's like shooting Santa. You just don't. And the guy who shot him, I guess it was a robbery, but after he shot him, he ended up getting the shit kicked out of him, so he never got to rob him. That's so fucking stupid. And then Kevin Durant getting hurt again for the Warriors, which giving a little bit of light and hope to the Raptors there. And there were some complaints going around about the Raptors fans like got excited and cheered when Kevin went down, which I get the issue there. And I'm thinking about, I hate seeing people go down. Just like as an athlete myself, very serious athlete, just like the mortality. And the problem is that, again, what are you going to do? End my men's league hockey career? It doesn't really mean anything, but it's the fact that it affects like outside of your life. If it like, if you fuck up your leg or something like that, it could affect like how long you can, pick up your kids for, or how much you can play with them, or just your mobility. fucks up all that stuff off the ice, off the court, off the field. So, I don't know, I have a heavy heart for those guys that get hurt. I'm thinking, like, as a fan, like, I'm not really pulling for anyone in the Raptors Warriors. Kind of be cool to see Kawhi do it. But I'm thinking of a series that means a lot to me, like CCDU. Especially goalies. I can't stand seeing goalies go down because I get that position most overall. But if DU's best player goes down, I think just in my mind, I'm going to be excited. But I'm going to keep it to myself, you know what I mean? I'm not going to cheer. And I don't like when, like, players are down and people, like, accuse them of faking. Like, you don't know what that guy's going through, man. And it is real tragic when a guy is faking. But on the other hand, man, some of those injuries just really get you. Even the toughest guys. So, yeah, it's sad to see KD go down. He's not my favorite player, but I know he's the second best player in the world behind LeBron James, who a deal for Anthony Davis is supposed to be done by the end of this weekend. I think they said it was going to be a 3 or 4 team deal between LA, New Orleans, and I can't remember the other teams. But I don't know if I really agree with that, man, because you're going to have to give up so many young pieces, which I just don't think you should. I think you just need to stick with what you have, let him grow, figure it out with LeBron. Get a free agent, though. I know they fucked that up with Paul George a couple years ago, where they didn't want to trade for him. They were just going to wait for him, but they didn't show interest during the season, so he went to a place that wanted him, which was OKC. Which, I don't know, I think LeBron needs to suck up his manhood and his pride and just go strong after Kyrie Irving. And reports are saying that LeBron's already talking to Kawhi. Good. Get him in. But don't trade for anyone right now. Just get a free agent. The best player, I think, for LeBron would be I'm so fucking tired. I can't remember names right now. Thompson from Golden State. Why can't I think of his name off the top of my head this early in the morning? Klay Thompson. I think he'd be the best. He's a great catch and shoot. He doesn't like dribbling that much. Let LeBron take it up the court. Also, he's one of the best defenders in his position. Give the best player to Klay. Just let Klay shoot. Let LeBron kind of play satellite defense. And then just do playmaker. And then just let him drive to the basket. If you take someone like AD, who has developed an outside shot, he is a mostly inside player. And I think that's going to crowd the lane for LeBron. So, I don't know. I'd steer away from it. But again, I went as far as middle school basketball. So, people out there smarter than me probably have a different opinion. But that's just my 2 cents. Something I do feel confident in saying, though, is that Godzilla King of Monsters has to be one of the greatest films of all time. Part of it is nostalgia for me. That was my childhood. My parents always, put on the Godzilla movies, which, looking back, they were shit. Really cool how they did it, though. A guy in a suit, which I would die to be in a Godzilla suit or to own one. But evidently people almost did, because it's just this big hunk of rubber and it does not breathe. And I remember watching a documentary on the early makings of Godzilla movies and how the guy could only shoot for like 10 minutes straight, and then they would have to like empty out the boots, like the feet of Godzilla. And they said it would just be pretty much a bucket of water. You'd have to dump out of just pure sweat, and the guy would lose so much weight. So he had to eat like 4 times the normal amount of carbs he had to eat. But man, I love that movie, Godzilla. And I did see it in theaters, which I thought it was gonna fuck with me because it's the second time ever I've been to a movie by myself. So yeah, I just embraced the loneliness. But a few seats over to me to my right was an older woman. I would say grandmother, but I don't want to label her or assume her I don't know, status on the parenting poll. But could be an aunt, I don't know. She was there with a little girl, and the little girl just had question after question. And the movie had just started. It was during the previews too, and I was like, man, fuck this. Like, I'm trying to enjoy this movie. I'm just gonna have this little girl not talking to me, but I can fucking hear her. And then the movie before Godzilla that I saw earlier in the week was Aladdin, which I had brought for those who know me, a long lost something. Someone that I had been disconnected with for a couple years. We had recently reconnected. I don't know, but if you know me, you know who I'm talking about. I do not put names out here. But yeah, that kind of stopped. That reconnecting lasted, ironically, 2 weeks, because for some reason, any thing or person I had talked to that was new had only lasted 2 weeks, which is bullshit, but who knows? Just not the right time, I guess. I don't know. I have other shit I need to be worried about. But anyway, with this person who, I don't know, old, very good friend. We'll go with that, just to not spoil anything. But we went to go see Aladdin together. And I'm not a big fan of musicals, but the music numbers are great with Will Smith. But there was a woman who would just like cheer at the oddest moments. I think like 3 or 4 rows above, and it's just like, shut the fuck up. You're not the center of attention, Grandma. I'm going to assume she's a grandma. Or a middle schooler, because she had the maturity of a middle schooler. Just shut up. So annoying. But yeah, this Godzilla movie though, luckily, no one ruined it for me. The girl finally shut her yap and realized that aunt or grandma over here is, receiving the same amount of information that she is at the same time. So there's no way that grandma's gonna have more info. But I'll be honest with you, I cried at points of that movie. Very nostalgic, as I said. They kept the original intro music for all the monsters. They kept the original, but they updated it, gave it a fresh taste, which was amazing. And the original roars were pretty close. Ghidorah was a little bit off, but Ghidorah looked amazing. Even if you haven't seen the movie, just Google it. King Ghidorah looks epic. Godzilla obviously looks amazing. The fights were amazing. Finally, Mothra looks more than just a bystander. It's not a spoiler, but she's got the, I don't know what you call it. The feet were sharp, man. She could stab shit with her feet. Good for her. Amazing movie. I loved it. People's complaints with those movies are always like the human aspect of it, and how the people are pretty much there just to move the plot along. Just tell you what's going on in the exposition, just because the monsters can't talk. But I don't know the exact numbers, but I heard the movie flopped in the box office opening weekend. It's just bullshit. See, what I find the biggest issue is what Godzilla 2014 was in 2014, and then you wait 5 years to put out the sequel. You lose excitement over that, because you kind of forget it. Even Skull Island, it didn't even touch this movie until the end credit scene, where I wouldn't be surprised if some people thought that King Kong was like its own thing. It had nothing to do with Godzilla's Monsterverse. But yeah, you got to put these movies out closer together, just so not everyone's a diehard Godzilla fan like I am. Which, what can I say? I haven't seen Shin Godzilla yet, which I might, but the Japanese are even worse at doing the whole human aspect, so it's just a lot of, political talking. It's good for accuracy of just how slow government works in crisis, because everyone wants to be right. But that'd be hard to watch. It's one of those movies I might just have to watch on my phone while watching something else. But it's just such an you gotta put the movies out closer together so they're still hype. I thought the previews were amazing. I think a movie like Avengers, though, they don't need to be putting out got my voice hurts. They don't need to be putting out trailers like for Endgame. You don't need to put a trailer out for that. What I said to keep from spoilers is Disney needs to keep their greedy hands in their pockets. Don't release any toys until after opening weekend, where hype's going to be crazy. But why do you need to even post any trailers for it? You know everyone's going to see it anyway. I found out, I think they spent $20 million. I think it was $20 million, if not $200 million, on advertisement. Which is stupid. Everyone's going to see it anyway. All you needed to do for Avengers Endgame, not a trailer, but for 30 seconds, just post the logo, Avengers Endgames, and the release date. Show that for 30 seconds, and that's all you need. Because now everyone's going to dissect the trailers and stuff like that, which I fell into it, where I got caught up in the hype, and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos that pretty much told me what was going to happen in the movie, and it was stupid. I hate fucking movies that go the easy way out of time travel. I haven't seen Game of Thrones, which I might hop into it, but obviously not too many people are happy with the ending, whatever it was, I don't know. But just taking time, doing time travel is just, I don't know, it's the easy way out. We can just go back and fix everything, and then it causes more problems. And you see, that's the problem when you have so many fucking directors, which the movies were entertaining and they did good, and they're one of those movies where you shut your brain off. The problem is when you have so many directors and you don't exactly know where everything is going, you just start adding bits and pieces, and it fucks with everything else. What they should have done, and again, I know I'm giving advice to a multi-billion-dollar company here, is before you start anything, and hey, actually this would be better advice for maybe DC Comics, since they're trying to unfuck themselves with how bad Justice League was a few years ago, and how are you going to start over after Aquaman did so well? What you need to do is you need to sit down and you need to plot everything out. Take 2 years, no movies, don't even fucking talk about it. Just plan it out for 2 years and say, okay, these are our plan for the movies. We don't have exact details, but this is overall what we're going to end up happening. Yeah, spoilers for, Avengers. Here's our overall idea. We're going to get this bad guy. He's going to get the Infinity Stones. He's going to have a glove that it all fits on. He's going to snap. It's going to kill people. The problem is they didn't have the idea right away. They kind of thought of it as they went along, and they ended up, finding out, we should keep adding more characters. And then they got licensed to more characters, so now they're just going to fucking toss them in. It's not going to go well either. Like fucking Spider-Man, they did the best they could. But you need to plan that ahead, especially a company like Marvel, which I guess is all in hindsight, knowing what they were going to be. I know. I'm a fucking idiot, so what am I even saying here? I just think you need to take the movies and you need to plan out, okay, this is what we're going to do with it. And then plot everything around these main points, instead of trying to figure out as you go, because now there are so many plot holes that fucked everything up. Like, could you imagine if there were like little, everyone's probably seen Endgame now, right? Could you imagine if there were little tidbits that Captain America had gone back in time and like lived his life? I mean, could you imagine if they put something in like Captain Marvel, where it's like an older Captain America's walking around or something? I'm just saying, something that would have added to that, because I love those movies. I think the perfect example is, which Harry Potter was it, where Hermione got that fucking time machine, where there had things that had happened earlier on in the movie that the characters reacted to that you didn't understand, and then it was explained later on. I love when that happens. But in this movie, it was just kind of poorly put together. Like when they decided to add Doctor Strange, and they were trying to figure out, and then everyone kept asking the question, okay, if Doctor Strange has been around, where the fuck was he when they had that big attack on New York, the invasion of New York? Well, they were kind of just defending their own little apartment complex. No, you gotta go deeper into that. I don't know. You gotta plan further ahead. But again, this is over the course of 13 years? So there's only so much you could do. I'm just saying, future reference. Just plan it all out. Tell the directors, this is exactly our plan. Make the movie you want, but here's what needs to be in it or stay out of it. And let them work with that. So, I don't know, maybe Justice League can do that. Maybe let Aquaman just be its own standalone film, reboot it, and try. And I think the problem is that DC tried to catch up all within 2 or 3 years of what Marvel had built up for 13 years. It's because they did it so quietly. You know, when you saw the Hulk, you thought that was it, and then they never made a universe like this that big. So, you know, when Tony Stark comes at the end to talk to the general saying, I'm putting a team together. Yeah, whatever fucking happened with that, by the way. But he comes in and says, there's going to be a team together. Like, yeah, it's like, oh, wow, they're teasing the Avengers. And then the Iron Man movie, oh, it could be a Hulk and that. But you never thought it was going to be this big. But they moved in silence about it, and that's the thing. Is that because they were the first ones to do it, now everyone tried hopping in. Like the Dark Universe, I thought would have been really cool and was an amazing idea. With Tom Cruise as, I think, the Mummy or some shit like that. You get the Mummy, Dracula, Frankenstein. That would have been so cool. But the problem is that everyone wants to compare themselves to the Marvel movies. And think they're going to do just as well. And when they don't make billions of dollars or close to $1 billion opening weekend, they say it's a flop, which I totally disagree with. Like, gosh, I really need water for my voice, but I have no idea where my water's at. I swore I had one in the car, but I don't know. This is only going to go on for a few more minutes. But yeah, so what you got to realize is you're not going to do as well as Marvel. Just make your own money. And it sounds like Sony's going to try to do the same thing with Spider-Man characters, but without Spider-Man. I've been avoiding any trailers or anything like that for Homecoming, which comes out next month. I really want to, I don't know, I just want to go in surprised, no expectations, because that's how I fucked myself with Endgame. I already knew about the time travel. But yeah, DC just needs to move quietly, plan it out, go at their own pace, and just accept we're going to be further behind. Because you can't do what Marvel did in 13 years in 2 years. I mean, you got to figure out what to do with this new Joker. And Jared Leto can't be that. Not that he was bad, he was just over the top. But, I mean, how do you follow Heath Ledger? I don't know, maybe you just don't do the Joker at all. Just, I know it's a different universe than whoever did the Christian Bale's Batman movies. God, this fucking traffic. And my appointment's in an hour. Let me see. As I said, I have a car appointment. Luckily, I'm only half an hour away. At least it said I'm going to arrive at 7:33. So, I don't know. As long as I'm there on time. But this better be for a good fucking reason. Yeah, just say the Joker, I don't know. What do you say? Just don't use the Joker yet. I don't know. It's just too risky. People are going to criticize it too much. And now, I don't know, fucking Twilight, Edward Cullen, or whatever his name is, I forgot the actor's name, is going to be the new Batman, supposedly. I don't know. There's just some characters where you cannot see that actor as anything else but them. You know what I mean? Like, anytime you see, like, even when you would see those, oh, man. I'm just so tired, I can't think of these things. Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr., you still saw Iron Man. Like, that's who they are. Chris Hemsworth, you always just think of Thor, stuff like that. I don't know, Edward Cullen guy. Oh, Robert Pattinson, yeah, I just can't see him anything else but a vampire, honestly. Like, same with, like, Harry Potter, you can't see him as anything else but Harry Potter. Even when I saw Beauty and the Beast, Bella, I saw a glimpse of Hermione. But, I mean, those movies are so... there's so much time passed since those movies, so it's a little bit easier. Probably the same with Twilight, I guess. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm fucking stuck in traffic. God's sakes. And this is, oddly enough, or ironically enough, the same area I was, like, stuck in. I was talking about earlier in the middle of the night. This guy over here is just smoking a cigar. Good for him. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm just rambling at this point. So yeah, as I said in my past podcast, I am trying to get some guests on. Excuse me. I am trying to get some guests on here. I might God damn it, now I have the hiccups. I might end up on my buddy's Twitch stream. Nintendo 9568, something like that. I don't know. But I might end up on his Twitch page. But I told him that the trade-off is that he would have to be on my podcast, and he's really big into video games, and he's a musician. Him and I seem to have the same love issues, so that might be a fun conversation between him and I. And then also a former soccer teammate of mine, someone who has transitioned from male to female. I am trying to get that person on as well, and they agreed to. It's just setting a time. One of my other buddies who I used to work with, who's doing medical school now, I want to get him on here. He's an entrepreneur. He bought a mountaintop in Larkspur, Colorado, which I didn't even know was legal. I didn't know it was just property to be bought, but he fucking did it. So he's really into making money. We can talk about that. He flips cars. So, he'll buy a car off eBay or whatever, and then modify it, then sell it off real quick. So he's into cars, entrepreneurship, and working out, so him and I can have good conversations. I don't know, I'm just trying to get a bunch of different people. One of my other buddies I used to work with in my old department, he was really big into underground rap scene, so I don't know, you could talk to him, find out what's going on in the world that no one knows about or cares about. That's what it really comes down to. And yeah, it has been a couple weeks since my last post, but again, I've been so busy with work and just trying to figure out what to talk about. So yeah, thought now would be a good time. And hey, I hit the 45-minute mark, not hitting pause once. I apologize. But for me, that's pretty cool. Alright guys, I'm going to let you get back on with your day. I appreciate you listening. Hopefully my next podcast will be out next week, but who the fuck knows. Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, thank you again for listening to Peyton Podcast. I will see you whenever I see you.